Hello everyone, my name is Rushabh Kumbhani and the task is Exploratory Data Analysis of Retail, which is of the level beginner. And as a business manager, I have to try to find out weak areas where I can work on to generate more profit for the superstore. Also, what are the various business problems which I can derive by exploring the data. So first of all, I'd like to import all the necessary libraries which are required for the data analysis, that is exploratory data analysis like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn and plot9. And also I have removed the warnings in order to make code more clean. First of all, in the given dataset I have given the description of each and every column for my reference, so that whenever I am in doubt I refer to those, and that makes my work very easier. So in any task of exploratory data analysis, there are certain steps involved. First of all, the first step is to read the data set and obtain basic information related to the data. That is, first of all, I'll use a data frame and import read CSV file by passing the path parameter, and I'll visualize the data using df.head. I tried to find out the rows and columns present in the data using df.shape, and I tried to find out the data types present in each and every column using df.dtypes. I tried to find out the info related to the data set, and also I tried by using df.describe I'll just find out what is the count of columns, what is mean in each and every column, and what are standard deviation, minimum value, and individual quartile values. Also, I'll find out the unique columns which are present in our dataset by using df.nunique. And suppose for ship mode there are 4 unique values in the dataset, and df segment.unique, which means that there are 3 unique segments present in our dataset, that is consumer, corporate and home office, and which are of the data type object. Now, another step involved is check for the null values or duplicate values in the dataset and remove them if there are any. Like we'll check first of all using .isNA, and we'll sum it, and we'll get the total of null values present in our dataset. Luckily, there are no null values present in our dataset. Now, we can look for the duplicate data present in our dataset using df.duplicated.sum. So there are around 17 duplicated values present in our data set. So we'll just drop the duplicate values because that will make our data redundant if we don't do it so. So by dropping the duplicate values out of 9994 columns, we have now now we have remaining 9977 rows are only remaining. Now another step, that is step 3, involved is check for the irrelevant columns which are not required in our dataset for drawing particular conclusion and drop them. Suppose there are various columns present in our dataset. There are 13 columns which are present in our dataset. However, one of the columns that I have dropped here is the postal code column, since it is not particularly required for drawing any conclusion, given that we have already the column of country, city, state and region. So we don't require particular postal code column for anything. So I dropped the postal code column, and now in our dataset there are 12 columns remaining. Now after dropping the columns, another step involved is to check for the relationship amongst the variables using correlation matrix and visualize it using heat map to get an idea. Now correlation matrix, what exactly it does is we have chosen the non-integer values like integer values exactly. So we'll find out correlation amongst them. Suppose in our dataset there are 4 integer or float values like sales, quantity, discount and profit. We'll find out the correlation between those, like sales has correlation with sales, that is 1. So sales is completely correlated with sales column, that is obviously true. However, quantity is very lowly correlated with sales, that is only 0.2. So if the correlation is high, then we can derive any conclusion from that. However, here in all the columns and rows, there is very low correlation. So we cannot derive any conclusion from those. So here the correlation amongst the variables is very low. So we won't rely on it and move forward with our analysis. Another step involved is check the relationship amongst the variables using the pair plot. Now using Seaborn library we'll be using plotting pair plot, and in which there is individual plots between all the every pairs like sales and quantity, sales and discount, sales and profit. Each and every plot there is pair plot, and by analyzing these there is no perfectly linear line or any perfectly plane in which we can represent it. So this plot is particularly very scattered and we are not able to derive anything from it. So we'll move forward with our analysis. Hence there cannot be any particular conclusion from it. Another step is to examine the relationship amongst the variables using scattered plot. Here the scattered plot is present, and however we can derive some insights from this, like we can get a brief idea about which segment generates more sales than along with the quantity required. Now let's deep dive into our analysis. Now our first question to address will be to visualizing the segment of the consumer buying from the superstore. So which segment of the consumer buys maximum? Is it corporate, retail? So we have to find out. First of all, we'll get value counts of each and every segment. That is consumer, there are 5191 present. For corporate, there are like 3020 present, etc. Now we'll plot it in order to better visualize it. So using the library of matplotlib, we'll be plotting this, and we get the following. Now exactly what is consumer 50? It is around the more than 50% of the consumer are in the particular segment, are customers. Like there are 51.941165 of the customers are consumers. So it is like that. So it can be observed that more than 50% of the consumer segment is of consumers, then corporate, and then home office. So the store owner should prioritize accordingly. Another question to address would be analyzing the shipment mode preferred by the consumer. Like we'll first of all analyze the ship mode using value counts, wherein we'll get an idea of the values of standard class, first class, second class, and same day class. Like standard class contains of 5968 values, second class contains of 1945 values, etc. We'll be carrying out the percentage of shipment modes, and we'll obtain that 59.71% of the shipment is of standard class. Then we'll be plotting that shipment, and we'll obtain the graphical visualization of that is around more than 50% of the customers opt for the standard shipment, and however very few customers opt for the same day shipment. So owner should make their logistical decisions, and planning should be made accordingly. Another question to address is analyzing the category of items in the superstore. So we'll get the first of all value counts of each and every category, and then we'll be plotting it similarly as we did in the previous task. So we'll be plotting it, and we'll get that more than around 60% of the plot is generated using office supplies, and then furniture, and then technology. So more than 60% of the products sold are in the category of office supplies. So inventory decisions should be made accordingly. Another question to address would be analyzing the subcategory of items in the superstore. We have already analyzed the categories of the items by far. So now by analyzing the subcategory, we will get a more general idea on how each and every item is sold in our superstore. So we'll just get value counts of each and every subcategories, and then we'll be plotting it similarly as we have done before, and we'll get this. So by far we can know that binders have more than 15% of the sales generated. So in this way, each and every subcategory have respective percentage of sales generated. So items sold in terms of percentage along with the bar chart is given here. So owner needs to make the inventory decisions accordingly. Another set of tasks to address would be analyzing the profits as per consumer segments in the superstore. Is the profit more in the consumer segment? Is the profit more in the corporate segment? Is the profit more in home office segment? We have to analyze that. So we'll just plot it. We already know that we'll plot it by using scatter plot. By the consumer segment will be of red color dots, corporate segment will be of blue color dots, and home office segment will be of green color dots. And we'll be plotting and we'll get sales and profit analysis on all the segments. We can see here that more than 60% of the dots are of consumer segments, and it generates around approx 5,000 of sales, and the profit is also like in around 2,000. Now, as the sales increases, naturally the profit increases as well. So here we can derive from this scatter plot that most of the profit comes from the consumer segment, and so they should focus on satisfying as many needs of consumer segments as possible. Now we'll analyze profit and discount relationship using frequency plot in order to determine discount, maximizing the profit. So we'll look at different plots and we'll determine which is the feasible discount which will generate profit to the store owner. Like first of all, we'll plot the frequency of the profit. Like if the discount is 0.1, then frequency of profit is relatively high. Now, if the discount is 0.2, like if there is 20% discount on particular items of segment consumer, then the frequency of profit generated is very low, as well as there is only few instances of high profit in that case. And if the discount is 50%, then there will be no profit, or either there will be negative, and so the store owner may go on a loss. So we can easily see that on plotting profit of with various values of discount, maximum profit obtained is at discount value about 10%. So store owner can't really afford to give discount more than 10% to the consumer. That much of the detail we can analyze from the data given. Now another task we'll be doing is to find out the overall average profit mapping with the segment in the given with different values of discounts. So we'll be using matplotlib in that case, and we'll be generating this type of graph. So what does this graph say? If the consumer segment is given discount of 0%, then the profit will be generated around 20 rupees or so. And if the consumer segment is given approximately 10% of the discount, then the profit generated will be more. So really it is even more than that of zero discount. Now, if the consumer segment gives discount around 0.45, like 45% of discount, then the shop owner will incur loss. Now similarly, in each and every segment, like consumer segment, corporate segment, and home office segment, we have plotted accordingly. So we'll get a brief idea of each sector, how much discount should be given in order to maintain profit for the shop owner. Now, average profit in all the segments along with possible discount values is given to have a better understanding of the discount segment relation. Now, here another task to find where the states where maximum sales is generated and have occurred in the superstore in United States. Now we'll be plotting every state that have been present in our data of United States, and we'll be getting a frequency of how much states are present in our data set. So by plotting we can find out that maximum number of states present will be of California, and it is around 2000 instances of those states present in our data set. Then it will be New York, Texas, Pennsylvania, Washington, Illinois, Ohio, Florida, etc. So the figure is quite self-explanatory, where one can determine that in which states maximum products are sold, and top 20 states out of them are shown here. 0 to 20. So top 20 states are shown here. Now identifying the subcategories where maximum profit is obtained. So here we will be identifying the subcategories where maximum profit is generated. So previously we had seen that maximum sales generated in the subcategories will be of binders, but the maximum profit obtained will be from copiers. So around more than 8,000 of the profit will be obtained from copiers, then it will be binders, then it will be machines, phones, etc. So subcategories like copiers, binders, etc. generate more profit than others. So owners should really focus on selling and maintaining inventory of those. Now, we'll be plotting the profit as per the subcategories. Like it will be plotting profit of each and every subcategory present. Suppose if the profit of the subcategory tables is, we'll be plotting the range exactly. So it will be in the range of minus 25,000 to around 10,000 of tables. Now by far we can see that maximum range of profit and loss is seen in binders here. It will be even more than minus 25,000 to even more than 50,000, and maximum profit, only profit, is seen in the copiers here. It does not incur any loss. So maximum profit is even more than 50,000. So we can here conclude that subcategory wise profit is shown here, leading owners to focus and improve on the relevant areas. Here binders have reported highest profit as well as loss. Highest profit as well as loss. However, loss can't be solely concluded because of the discounts given. However, copiers have the highest profit next to binders, and it does not have any loss, which can be easily seen from the figure. Now we'll be visualizing the shipment modes preferred according to the category using bar graph. We'll be using the plot9 library and a feature of ggplot, where we will be plotting this bar graph and we'll be analyzing it. Now after analyzing, we can find out that majority of the people buying products mentioned in the category above will prefer standard class shipment. Suppose in standard class there is much more count than in same day shipment, second class shipment and first class shipment. Now also in that standard class shipment, we will find that around more than 50% of the shipment done is of office supplies. Then it is of furniture and the rest is of technology. So we can gain much more information from this bar graph regarding the each and every shipment and how much percentage of shipment that can be done. Now we'll also try to get to know overall sales data in the United States according to the subcategory in all the segments as whole. Now we'll just plot it using ggplot, which has various plotting libraries as well, and we'll be analyzing overall sales data in United States as per the segments. Suppose if the consumer segment will be plotting via subcategories. So in accessories there are around 400 count is sold in consumer segment. In furnishings around 500 of the count is sold in consumer segment. In similar ways, in corporate segment the amount sold via subcategory is shown, and in home office, which has very low values, the amount is the count of the accessories and all that sold is shown here, and it can be easily inferred that overall sales idea of all the subcategories is obtained here via segment wise, and it can be considered also as a overview sales data of our data set. Now moving on to our last conclusion and last derivation from the data, we'll be visualizing profit and discount relation using line plot. So using Seaborn library, we'll be plotting line plot and we'll be deriving relationship between profit and discount. Now If the profit is the discount is around 10%, then we have seen that it will generate more profit. Now, if more and more discount is given, then profit generated will be low, and even there will be very low loss. There will be loss occurring at very high discount value. So by far by so good. Now, if at certain value, if the discount is even more, and if the product has expired, and the sales owner want to sell that, he has to give more discount, right? So he will be giving around 60% of discount, and he will be trying to break even, but then also he will incur loss. So after more than 20% discount, the sales owner will definitely suffer loss if he gives more than 10% of the discount. So profit is only positive if the value of discount is less than 10%. After that, it won't be feasible for the owner to sell items with discounts greater than 10%. In general, it would incur loss to the shop owner as well. Now, overall conclusion from these exploratory data analysis techniques, we were able to make some business decisions that would have positive impact for the superstore. Also, we were able to point out drawbacks in the current working business model, where owner can improve and turn it into a profitable venture with good customer and logistics base. So, thank you everyone. That was it.